Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And today I'm going to talk about something that I think is really important to talk about on my channel, and that is quitting BookTube. Before we get into this video, I want to kind of preface this by saying that this upcoming Friday is my 2-year anniversary on BookTube. I love anniversaries. I've been sober for 23 years, and every year on my sobriety birthday and the dates leading up to it, or the days leading up to it, I think a lot about the person that I was when I first got sober, the person that I was before I got sober, what I've accomplished in that time, what I still haven't accomplished that I want to, and what that journey has been like for me. Any anniversary in my life is important to me, and I love anniversaries for that reason, This year I'm coming up on the 7th wedding anniversary of my marriage and my 10 years of being together with my husband. And I like to look back on that and think, God, who were we when we first got together, and who am I now, and those kinds of things, and who is he now? And, it's really fun to kind of look back on all of that and see how far we've come. And any kind of anniversary, whether it's a birthday, whether it's a wedding anniversary, whether it's a BookTube anniversary, is a time for me to look back on the journey that I've had and to kind of also appreciate that journey and know when maybe it's time to take a new journey. And, I've really been thinking a lot about that recently, and let me explain to you why. When I started BookTube, and I'm a much different person than I am today, and, I'm a little nervous, I think, because I'm not really sure how this video is going to be perceived or received. But anyway, I'm a much different person than I was when I first started BookTube. I started BookTube because I had just come out of writing, my very first novel and having it published. I was really wanting to find people to talk to about my book, to talk about my writing process, and it was suggested to me to go to BookTube, which was a world that I didn't even know existed. And I immediately started watching, BookTube videos, and I think at the time I Googled something like, best BookTube channels, and I found like Jesse the Reader, and I found like Christine and Natasha and Sasha and all those people, and those are the people that I watched. And I think that sometimes they get a bad rap because they're on such a huge level compared to other booktubers that have a couple hundred subscribers. But thank God for those people that really set the mark and started. Katrina the Little Book Owl was so friendly to me when I first started, and I adore her. There were so many booktubers that were just so nice and so generous to anybody that started. And I have to say, having 4 YouTube channels now, okay, that BookTube is a community that I think sometimes we take for granted. Until you are on other areas of YouTube, you don't really understand how kind, compassionate, and welcoming this community is most of the time. And even if you have difficulties with other people, most people are willing to talk it out and have some kind of, intellectual conversation, adult conversation about it. Given the age differences on BookTube, I think that's kind of phenomenal, And I've just loved everything about BookTube since I've started. But that being said, I'm not who I was when I started. And going back and watching some of my very first videos, I was doing book hauls all the time. And today I was going to actually do a book haul. And I was doing book hauls all the time, and I was doing, book tags, and I still love to do book tags. And, I started changing over time of who I was as a reader as well, and my reading taste changed over time. And I think that there's this like unwritten rule on BookTube that we're not allowed to change as readers, It's like we're forced to talk about the books that everybody wants to talk about if you want anybody to watch your videos. And obviously we're making videos because we want people to watch them and have conversations with us about books, because that's what I found so attractive about BookTube to begin with, was that I had other people that I could talk to about my love of reading. And I remember one of the videos that totally changed all of this for me and made me just dive in, with all I had into BookTube, was when Christine put out a video where she went to Target. Did you guys see this video? Where she went to Target to go get the Twilight book, and she was so excited that it just came out. She vlogs herself getting in the car, going to Target, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, to see somebody else get as excited about books as I get excited about books was just so cool. It was just such a cool thing, And then I started, every person, if I watched a booktuber, every booktuber that was listed on the side, I would just subscribe. I mean, I subscribe to so many booktubers, And I'll subscribe to anybody. I love to find new booktubers, which is the reason that I did the booktuber tag, because I really wanted to find new booktubers. And every time I watch one of those videos, which is like kind of surreal to me, if you've ever started a tag and other people have done it, it's kind of surreal to watch somebody do your tag. It's very cool, you know, and that's like one of the small things that I never expected from being on BookTube. And it's weird because in comparison to my other channels, when I'm over here and I'm making videos, it very much feels like I'm sitting, like, I don't know, in like a school auditorium with my friends and we're just talking about books. Like that, honest to God, is how it is, you know? And it's one of the reasons why I've been kind of jealous that I've never been able to make it to, you know, BEA and BookCon, because I just think it would be so cool to meet so many of you out there. And, you know, my next year, one of my plans is that I really want to try to like go to Y'all Fest or BookCon and those kinds of things. One of the things I've noticed in the last year from a lot of the people that I love, you know, one of the first people that I watched on BookTube was Benjamin of Tomes. And he, I think, for me, was like, okay, here is somebody that, you know, is a guy, and he's like doing BookTube, because a lot of BookTube, at that point when I started, it was, majority of it was women. There were like, you know, 5 or 6 guys that I knew that were doing it, but I couldn't find a whole lot of other guys, and he was like somebody that had a following, people liked his videos and all that kind of stuff. He had started a publishing house, you know, it was really cool. And I watched his videos. Well, recently he changed his channel, and you know, he started talking about how he didn't just want to do book videos on there, he wanted to do other things on there as well. And I remember watching it and I was like, all right, you know, this is really, really cool. And I think that for a lot of us out there, you know, on BookTube especially, there's this fear of changing, because if we change, then people aren't going to continue to want to watch our videos, you know? And I think there's this fear inside a lot of times that we can't change as readers. We can't change who we are as readers, because if we do, then the same people that loved us when we were only talking about young adult content and now we're talking about literary fiction aren't going to want to watch our videos. And I just don't believe that to be the case, you know? For example, Ariel Bissett is somebody that I absolutely adore. I don't think she even knows who I am, but I love her. And, you know, she has changed a lot over time, and I still love her content just as much now as I did then. And so I think that at any given time, all of us can change, and all of us can be morph into new booktubers. And the reality is, okay, we always, and if you notice, because I'm on 3 other channels, I skip and I say BookTube, YouTube, BookTube, YouTube. But the reality is, okay, that you are booktubers out there, but you're YouTubers first and foremost. And we are all part of the YouTube world. YouTubers are allowed to change at any given time who they are, you know? If you're on BookTube and all of a sudden you decide tomorrow that you want to be a mommy blogger, or you want to be a candle review company, or you just want to vlog about your life, that's completely fine, you know? What makes me sad a lot of times is that I think that when people stop doing BookTube because they don't really know what to do anymore with their channel. They're tired of talking about books, they're tired of doing book tags, they're tired of doing readathons, and they don't want to do that anymore, right? And so they just kind of float away. They kind of stop making videos, they're not getting views, and they get real frustrated with it. And in the last year, I can't tell you how many tags I have gone to that were originally created by a certain person, and I go to them, and they haven't posted a video for 6 to 8 months. And my first question is always, what happened? Like, why did you stop making videos? Because my fear is that at some point, I won't want to make videos on BookTube anymore. But I'm not there today. I love BookTube even more than I did 2 years ago. I'm so thankful for being part of this community. I'm so thankful for people even wanting to watch anything that I have to say about books on any kind of level, you know? That being said, I am allowed to change who I am on this channel. I am allowed to change what I like to read, and I have over time. I've really started to mix it up what I read. And so are you. You are too. You don't have to continue to read what you read 3 years ago. People don't expect that of you. We all change. And BookTube is a community where I think we're all welcoming of that, and that we can continue to change who we are. We can continue to morph into somebody different. You know, BookTube is a community where there are a lot of kids that start off in high school, they go to college, and they graduate. I've watched some of these people like grow up on BookTube, right? Well, I'm not the person I was when I was 16, thank God. And I do miss those days sometimes, but really just hanging out with my friends. But the reality is, you aren't the same person at 16 as you are at 18, as you are at 22, as you are at 25, as you are at 45. So the reality is you are going to change, and your reading tastes are going to change over time too. And you may need to take a break from BookTube for a while. You may need to stop and say, I got a lot going on in my life, okay? I got exams and essays and all this kind of stuff. I just can't keep up with it, and that is totally fine. BookTube should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be stressful to anybody's life. You know, this is a community where people are so welcoming and so cool, and I'm so honored to be a part of it, and I love getting on here on a regular basis and making videos. But there are some days that I feel like, you know what, today I don't have a lot to say, and that's okay. And there are a lot of days that I want to make 2 videos because I have a lot to say, and that's okay too. And I think it's so awesome that we can come over here and, you know, we can love one another and we can be supportive of one another. It's hard because I've sat back and I've watched a lot of booktubers in the last year walk away from their booktube channels, and it confuses me. I don't understand it. You know, as somebody that loves it so much, I don't understand it. But that being said, I'm okay with it. They have a right to do whatever they need to do. You know, we're not going to probably do BookTube for the rest of our, I mean, I might because I don't have many years left on this planet. But, you know, we can't expect that people are going to stay exactly where they are for the next 30 years and do the same thing. It makes me sad. You know, I've seen some people that I really, really love on BookTube just kind of walk away and not really say much about it. And, you know, it's like they're still pretty active on social media, but they don't really address why they don't make videos anymore. And that's okay. I'm supportive of that. But the people that have stayed around that I have loved, I'm thankful for you too, because you're home for me, you know, like you're my BookTube home. When I go to you and I see that you've posted a new video, it makes me so happy. But that being said, if we're suffering burnout from making videos on BookTube, nobody should be stressed by that, you know? I've talked to friends of mine on BookTube and they're like, I just don't even want to make a video. Don't make a video that day. Don't make a video for 3 days. You know, sit on your front couch or front porch and don't read, you know, just don't do anything if you don't want to. There is no, you know, end goal in sight. There's no timer. We're supposed to be doing this for fun. And I would like to see less people burn out and stop doing what they love because they feel like it's forced upon them. BookTube is a wonderful, welcoming place that anybody can come and talk about books and enjoy books and have an amazing conversation about that. I'm so glad to be part of it because I just don't have a lot of people in my real life that even want to talk about books, except for my best friend, and she and I don't read the same books. So to come over here and be able to find people, and I'll always be able to find people, but I want, you know, some of the people that I love out there that are stressed about, you know, BookTube and having to put out videos and having to read it's just, stop stressing. You know, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And we're all here to support you. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.